No shock that Australia is in the grips of a housing crisis. If you can afford to buy a home, you probably can't find one at the moment. And if you want to build, it's a slog to get anything approved. We all know that. Well, rental vacancy is also at an all-time low of 0.7%. In New South Wales alone, 375,000 new homes are needed in the next 5 years. That's 75,000 homes a year. How are they going, do you reckon? All the while, building costs are rising around 10.3% a year, with the average development application taking longer to pass than ever before.
So to discuss these issues, we are joined now by Sydney lawyer and renter Candy Welsh and Urban Task Force CEO Tom Forrest. Thank you both for your time. Now, I want to start with you because, Candy, it's so difficult at the moment to find a rental. Talk me through the challenges that you're facing.
Every time you go to an inspection, everyone's telling the stories, but the lines are going outside the apartments, down the stairs, around the corner of building blocks. Every time you apply, you're being outbidded. People are offering to pay more months in advance. It's a bidding war. It's tough.
Supply is the real issue, isn't it?
Where do we start with the myriad of problems here to sort through?
It's a cultural change through the whole system. Local, state, federal governments, they've sleepwalked into a crisis. Indeed, they're still sleepwalking. There's some changes starting to be made, but then there's lots of talk of not wanting to change the character of our suburbs, not increasing the density, taking any opportunity to oppose. Court cases being taken frivolously just to oppose it, just to stop development happening. It's that sort of culture that needs to change. We need to admit there's a crisis and do something about it.
And just on that point, council's tying things up in the courts. I mean, imagine how much ratepayer money is going towards the legals for councils right now.
Quite frankly, it's just gutless. It's a lack of leadership. It's where councils don't want to say no to communities because they fear that they might get unelected at the next election. And so they take things to court knowing that they're going to lose, wasting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars.
I'm sorry, Kenny, you hear that? I mean, you're a lawyer. How does that make you feel? It doesn't make your quest any easier either, does it?
No, and it's not the problem that we are concerned about. It's just making sure that, when our leases end, we have somewhere else to go. Every friend, neighbour I have is in the exact same position. Rents are going up. Mine went up $120 a week. Others have gone up $200 a week. It's not sustainable.
And you're left with no choice, aren't you? This is the point where you're kind of helpless as a renter.
It's either fork out $650 plus for a one-bedroom apartment or, never enter the property market or not know where you're going to end up renting.
That's the thing. What are the legitimate alternatives?
There are none. It's leave Sydney. Even trying to find a room in an established share house. There's people cancelling because they're getting 20 messages in an hour, and it's just overwhelming. You can't get in anywhere.
There are developments around too that have got approval from council, but the individual houses haven't had a DA approval. And there are literally thousands of houses that can be built today. There's an immediate fix. So I don't know why it's getting caught up.
You have a situation, Carl, where you have a rezoning, but you don't have a development approval. The development approval relies upon the infrastructure being delivered. It's often the infrastructure, the roads, the water, the sewage systems that stop the houses being able to be developed. The development community can do the local roads and the local water systems, but connecting into the Sydney water or the main water pipes and the main sewage systems, connecting into the main road networks and transport systems, that's a state government responsibility. State governments are strapped for cash. Federal government got a budget coming up. Maybe it's their National Housing Accord. Maybe they should be looking to fund some of that infrastructure to help us with the housing supply crisis.
So is that the major issue? Because obviously we hear about a shortage of materials and even trades to literally get these things up.
A lot of tradies have simply left the industry because they've got so frustrated with the slowness of the planning system, with the over-regulation of the planning system. They've just given up and gone to easier jobs, particularly during COVID, where there was a shortage just about everywhere. You could get a job that doesn't involve hard labour and sun and exposure to risk and danger at about the same pay rate. So a lot of people left. If you started making things easier in the planning system and you started showing that we were committed to housing supply, a lot of those tradies had come back, and that's what we've got to see.
Honestly, this is not going to help your cause at all, but how long before we see some real change in supply?
Carl, you said at the beginning, we need 75,000 homes a year in New South Wales. This year, 42,000 in the last 12 months. So we've almost got to double that. Now, it takes a long time to turn the ship of planning around and start steering us in the right direction, but we start by having conversations like this. We need to drive the change. the voice of young people will grow ever louder as their anger grows, and the politicians are bound to listen to that.
All right.
It's not just supply either.
Yeah.
We need caps on how much rents are going up every time.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's two-pronged, isn't it?
Yeah. Good on you guys.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
The conversation starts. Well, the good old-fashioned Aussie milk bar, folks, is back, thank goodness, but definitely not as you remember it.
Yeah.